house
but
that
for
day,
the actions
your grandson might be dead.
of these people in that house
you
that
have
day,
to acknowledge
your
that.
grandson might
Thank
be
God
dead.
that didn't happen because
You
I
have
wouldn't
to
be able to live with
acknowledge
myself
that.
either.
Thank
God that
didn't
Coming
happen
up, Sherry's
because,
daughter
I
Dina
wouldn't be able to live with
says
myself
her
either.
former sister-in-law
Coming
Alexa
up,
was
Sherry's
fine
daughter
with her
Dina
mom looking after her
says
grandson.
her former sister-in-law
So what
Alexa
changed?
was fine with her mom
Well, that's a
looking
good
after
question.
her grandson.
We'll
So
talk about
what
that
changed?
next.
Well, that's a good question. We'll talk about that next.
When the gun incident happened, Anita reported that Dylan was there to harm them. I don't think that was true. Anita saw an opportunity to get Dylan out of their lives, and she took it.
Anita saw an opportunity to get Dylan out of their lives.
And later,
I heard with my own ears what he just said, and I'm sick.
His
dad's a great father.
you guys need to so grow up. I am telling you.
You guys need to so grow up. I am telling you.
I think Anita and Alexa are evil people, and I don't trust either one of them around my grandson, to tell you the truth, but there's nothing I can do about it.
I have mentioned to Alexa in the past that it would be best if she just severed her ties with that family because I think that they're evil, and that's just my opinion. Sherry only thinks that her son is the victim, and that's it. Nobody else.
Her son is the victim, and that's it.
Sherry's daughter Dina agrees with her mom that her nephew is being
Sherry's
dragged
daughter
into
Dina
the middle of this
agrees
adult
with her mom
dispute.
that her nephew is being
Dylan and
dragged
Alexa
into the
rushed into
middle of this
marriage.
adult
There were
dispute.
signs that Alexa was beating
Dylan and
Dylan.
Alexa
I
rushed
told
into
Dylan
marriage. There were
after
signs
finding
that
out
Alexa
that
was
she
beating
does
Dylan.
get physical,
I told Dylan
divorce her before she ends up
finding
pregnant.
out that
I know it
she
wasn't going
does
to be a
get
stable
physical,
environment to raise a
divorce her
child.
before she ends up
When the
pregnant.
gun
I know it
incident
wasn't gonna be a
happened,
stable
Anita
environment
reported
to
that
raise a
Dylan was there to
child.
harm them. I don't think that was true.
Happened.
Anita
reported that
saw
Dylan was
an
there to harm
opportunity
them.
to get Dylan
I
out of
don't
their
think that was
lives,
true.
and she took it.
Anita saw
She called
an
the police
opportunity
and
to
said
get Dylan out
that
of their
Dylan was
lives.
threatening them.
She
They
took
made
it.
the police
She called the
approach
police and said
aggressively.
that Dylan was
Dylan did not
threatening
shoot
them.
his gun.
They
He
made the
never
police
pointed his gun at them
approach
either. But I
aggressively.
thought he was going to
Dylan
try
did not
suicide
shoot
by
his gun.
cop.
He never pointed
It's
his
been
gun
about
at
4
them either.
months
But
since
I
I've
thought
seen
he
my
was gonna try
5-year-old nephew.
suicide by cop.
Alexa uses my
Been
nephew
about
as a
4
pawn.
months since I've
We're
seen my
unfairly
5-year-old
punished
nephew.
for the
Alexa
actions of my
uses my
brother
nephew as a
and
pawn.
have been off and
We're
on since it
unfairly
occurred.
punished for the actions of my brother and have been
Well,
off
Dina,
and on
thank you
since it
for
occurred.
joining us. You say that it's wrong
Well, Dina, thank you for
that Anita and
joining
Alexa
us.
are keeping
You say
your
that
nephew
it's wrong
from your
that
side
Anita
of the
and
family.
Alexa are keeping your nephew
Tell me why you think that's
from
happening.
your side of the family.
Okay.
Tell me
First of
why
all,
you
let me
think
address
that's happening.
that not only is it embarrassing that
First
you're
of all, let
lying
me
about everything
address
that you're saying.
that not only is it embarrassing
No,
that
I'm
you're lying
serious.
about everything that you're saying.
You weren't even involved with your daughter. You didn't like
No,
your
I'm
daughter.
serious.
Right. It was like a
You
year
weren't
ago
even
that I
involved with
went
your
and
daughter.
got
You
my
didn't
nephew
like
from
your
her.
daughter.
She had
Right.
scratch
It was
marks
like
all
a
over
year
her
ago
body,
that
and
I
she
went
told
and
my
got
mom
my
it's because
nephew
you
from
attacked
her.
her.
She had scratch marks all over her body, and she told my mom it's because you attacked
Alexa,
her.
don't even try to lie either. Because if you want help from drphil,
Yeah.
you should be
Alexa,
honest.
don't even try to lie either. Because if you want help from drphil, you should be honest.
No, because I have the photos. I have the photos.
Because I have
Okay,
the
so
photos.
you're an adult. You're an adult getting attacked by your mother. You claim she didn't get that.
That was 3 years
She's
ago.
over here claiming she's innocent. She's not this crazy broad. She's not normal. She's not this crazy broad, but you are. I am.
Let's
I'm the most respectful
Alexa.
of my mom's family.
Stop. Alexa has the floor for a minute.
Just like speak
Okay,
one
go
at a
ahead.
time.
Yeah, I know how to run this. Thank you.
Just like speak one at a time.
He has the floor. Go ahead.
There was an incident that happened. I think it was like June, July. I don't remember honestly. My son had said, "I don't like you." It upset her. She has things from the past.
He's 4 years old, people. Let her speak, please. It's her turn.
And it had upset her, yes. So
She's just making you look like a lunatic.
And
Speak,
it had
please.
upset
Okay.
her. Yes.
right.
Thank
She's
you.
just making you look like a lunatic.
Yes.
Speak,
So,
please. Okay.
anyhow,
You guys thought you were going to come out
Can
here
you
and play
please
us.
be
It didn't play.
quiet?
No.
Oh my God.
Listen. Okay, stop.
Oh my God.
Now,
She doesn't have
listen,
eyes.
let
I
me
don't
tell
like
you
it.
guys,
Stop.
I'm
Now,
all about
listen,
unification
let me
of
tell you
families.
guys,
not about fragmentation
I'm
of
all about
families.
unification
But
of
if
families.
you guys want to come in
Not
here and
about
turn this
fragmentation
into
of
a yell
families.
fest
But
and
if you guys want to come in here,
just totally
turn this into
disrespect
a
the
yell
process,
fest, and
then you're going to derail
just
all of
totally
that. Why
disrespect
did
the
you
process,
cut
then
off
you're going to derail all of that.
the
Why did you
access to your
cut
son?
off
My son had come home and told me that
the
his dad lives in the
access
mountains
to your
and he has a
son?
house.
My son had come
And
home
he wanted to
told
go
me
see
that
him, and
his
I
dad
said,
lives
well,
in the
baby, he's
mountains
in
and
big
he
boy
has a
timeout.
house.
That's what I've always told him.
And he
I would
wanted to
never
go
say,
see
like,
him,
oh,
and I
he's
said,
in jail,
well,
he's in
baby, he's in
prison.
big boy timeout.
Say
That's what I've
anything
always
bad
told
about
him.
him. I just say,
I would
hey,
never
he's in
say,
big
like,
boy
oh, he's in
timeout.
jail,
He
he's in
needs to be a big
prison.
boy. Once
Say
he's
anything
out,
bad about him. I
then
just
you
say,
guys
hey,
are
he's in
welcome to
big
have
boy
a
timeout.
relationship
He
and
needs to
see
be a
each
big
other.
boy.
He just
Once
says,
he's
okay.
out,
I
then
keep
you
it
guys are
short and
welcome to have
simple.
a
I've gotten that
relationship
advice
and see
from
each
my
other. He just
therapist.
says, okay.
And you've
I
had a
keep it short and
different
simple. I've gotten that
strategy, a
advice
different
from my
story.
therapist.
And you've had a different
Coming up, Sherry
strategy,
says
different story.
she's seen bruises on her grandson and she's
Coming up,
suspicious
Sherry
of Alexa.
says she's
We're
seen
going to
bruises on her
find out
grandson and
if
she's suspicious
these are
of
legitimate
Alexa.
concerns
We're
or
gonna
if
find
we're
out
starting
if
to get
these are legitimate
hypersensitive and
concerns
sling
or
allegations,
if we're starting
which is
to
a
get
very
hypersensitive and
dangerous
sling
thing to
allegations,
do
which is
in
a
this situation.
very
We'll be right back.
dangerous thing to do in this situation. We'll be right back.
My nephew is saying that he's getting hit in the face. He fell out of a shopping cart. You told us that too, but I was there.
Of a shopping cart. You told us that too.
Yes, I was there.
Alexa was a party girl. She likes to drink a lot when she's out. I have video that somebody sent me of her being obnoxious, wild, cussing, and I'm just wondering what's going on with my grandson. Where is he when she's partying all the time? I mean, what kind of mother does that?
She's partying all the time.
Here's my question for you.
Here's
Are you
my question for you.
legitimately concerned
Are you
for the well-being
legitimately
of your
concerned
grandson
for the
being
well-being
raised by
of your
his
grandson
biological mother
being raised by
to the point
his
that
biological
you
mother
fear
to the
for
point
his
that
safety
you
and therefore
fear
you think it's
for his
actionable
safety,
and he should be removed
and
from that home?
therefore you think
thought
it's
about it.
actionable and
If
he
you
should
do
be
think
removed
that
from that
and
home.
you
I thought
don't
about it.
If you do think
report
that
it,
and
then
you don't
that's negligence on
report
your
it,
part.
then
As a
that's
grandparent,
negligence on your
you don't
part.
think it and
as a
you're just
grandparent,
using it as
if
ammunition
you
to
don't think
try
it
and
you're just
fortify
using it as
your position
ammunition
and
to
weaken
try
hers,
and fortify
that is
your
very
position
easy to
and weaken
determine,
hers.
and you can wind
That
up
is very
not
easy
only
to determine,
having your rights
and you
limited
can
but
wind up
terminated.
not only
Wait, we
having
were never
your
gonna accuse
rights
her of
limited,
being-
but terminated.
Any type of thing.
Wait, we were
in
never
court.
gonna accuse
She
her
just
of being
did on videotape on
Yeah.
national
any type of
television.
thing.
We
in
have
court.
She just
reason
did
to
on
believe that you
videotape
possibly
on
do
national
because that's what you were
television.
taught from your mother.
Reason to
As
believe
my
that you
nephew got
possibly
older,
do
we
because
were
that's what
going
you were
to.
taught from your mother.
If it was a physical
As my
situation and
nephew
he's
got
old enough
older,
to
we were
be
going to-
literally saying,
If it was a
my
physical
mom hits
situation
me,
and he's
my
old
mom
enough to
hurts
be
me, then yeah, we're going to
literally
call
saying,
authorities. But he's
my
little.
mom hits
We
Well,
don't
me
want
let's
to
and
take
my
a
mom
look
hurts
at
me,
how
then yeah, we're
Sherry
going to go away
tries
from
to
her. But he's little.
investigate her
We don't want to
grandson's
just assume these
bruise.
things and take
Sherry
them away from
tries
her.
to investigate her grandson's
Because
bruise.
I got hurt.
How'd you get hurt?
I don't know.
What happened?
I
Who
don't
hurt you
know.
right there? Who did that?
Mama,
Why?
because Mama hurt me.
That's not nice. I don't want mama hurting you.
Mama snacking into my face.
She smacked you in the face?
Yeah.
You don't let mama do that. You tell your grandma and you tell Nana, okay?
Okay.
I don't like that.
I don't like that.
I protect you, okay?
Okay.
Give me kisses.
I don't like that.
I love you.
I guarantee you, if Alexa, and I'll tell both of you right now, if either one of my children ever beat their children, I would be the first person, the very first person to turn them in.
So why do you do it to your own then?
She doesn't even live in my house.
Because you physically attacked her all the time. You guys always argued. I wouldn't live in your house either.
You know when we were arguing? After this whole incident happened, and Alexa was extremely confused.
My nephew is saying that he's getting hit in the face.
He fell out of a
My
shopping
nephew is saying that
cart.
he's getting hit in the face.
You told us that too, but you didn't believe it.
You really didn't know.
I was there.
Because she is physical with her little daughter.
Yes.
This is what she
All the
taught.
time.
Who knows how her childhood was? What I did hear one time, it was last Christmas. My nephew slapped her in her face, which he did a lot. And she would laugh in front of us like, oh, it's so funny.
Which he did a lot. And
she put him in a timeout and she asked him, why did you hit Mom in the face? And he said, because you hit me in mine. And she manipulated his words like I didn't hear what he said. And she said, no, you can't just hit me because you want to. And I was disgusted. And I went in the kitchen and I told my mom.
And I was disgusted. And I went in the kitchen and I told my mom.
I heard with my own ears. Wait, he just said I'm sick.
I heard with my own ears.
I don't know what to do.
Wait, he just said and I'm sick.
But he's a little boy.
I don't
want to take him away from his mom.
And you'll never
But he's
will.
a little boy.
I don't want to.
I don't want to take him
I need
away
her
from
to
his
get it
mom.
together so she can be a good mother.
I
Because he
don't
doesn't
want
have his
to.
dad.
I need her to get it
Dad's
together
a
so
great
she can be a
father.
good mother.
Look, if I
Because he
hear
doesn't
another
have his dad.
sarcastic, smart-ass remark, I'm telling you,
Look, if I hear
you
another
guys need
sarcastic,
to so
smart-ass
grow
remark,
up.
I'm
I
telling
am
you,
telling you.
you guys need to so grow up. I am telling you.
Coming up, Sherry says that she didn't want to get the courts involved, but she's already tried being civil. When we come back, I'm going to talk about what I think needs to happen, and it's going to be in the way of a warning.
I think needs to happen, and it's going to be in the way of a warning. We'll be right back.
Lex is trying to change my nephew's last name to whatever hers is at the moment. She's trying to take Dylan's last name away from my nephew. It's disgusting. You already don't let him see him. And you're going to try to take away his last name?
You already don't let him see him.
It's disrespectful. This is another example of her putting my nephew in the middle of adult issues.
Putting my nephew in the middle of adult
issues. I want to say to the four of you that
I want to say,
there's a child
to the four
in the middle
of
here.
You that there's a child in the middle.
Whatever transgressions the four of you do, the child picks up the tab for that. The child pays the price for that.
The child picks up the tab for that. The child pays the price for that.
There are some things that I say with great confidence, and
there are some things
what happens in the litigation arena is one of those things I say with great confidence.
What happens in the litigation arena is one of those things I say with great confidence.
Because that's what I've spent most of my professional career doing.
Because that's what I've spent most of my professional career doing.
I know the litigation arena, and I know judges, and I know family court judges.
Litigation arena, and I know judges, and I know family court judges.
This side has enough vulnerability in the history
has enough
of what's going on
in the history
that you are vulnerable
of what's going on
to analysis and having your inventory taken in a way that you won't like.
Having your inventory taken
this side
in a way
of the family
that you won't like.
Comes into the situation.
This side of the family comes into the situation
with a huge bias against you before you start. Because of Dylan's actions,
huge bias against you before you start,
and
because of Dylan's
you are telling a different story than the biological mother of this child.
Telling a different story than the
whether
biological
you like it or whether you don't.
Child.
The biological parent controls the situation.
The
if the biological parent says big boy timeout and that's the story, then grandparents have to adhere to that story. If they are not consistent with the biological parent's reasonable and therapeutically supported approach, then you clearly are in violation with a therapeutically supported parenting plan, and you will be turned away.
Therapeutically supported parenting plan, and you will be turned away.
I'm all with her the way she put, time out. That's fine. She didn't like what I said.
Time out. That's fine.
She said,
didn't like what I said.
You don't need to tell my son Daddy's at work. I'm not going to tell a 4-year-old Daddy's in prison. He's 4 years old.
I'm not going to tell a 4-year-old
Don't talk about it at all.
I know he's your son, and I understand you love him.
He loves me.
I know he's your son, and I understand
He's
you love him.
He's never asked me.
He asked me
with his dad, though, because you weren't taking him to see his dad. So why would he ask you?
I don't know, but I don't
But it's not for you to give her advice on what she should do or not do, because you don't know what she should do or not do.
I don't want her to say that he's at work because he's not at work. Say big boy. No, okay, I understand that he's in the fire camp, but that's not a real job. He's doing a job because he's in prison and he has to. He's working. He is in big boy time out. You can't say he's at work because that's not a job. He's not a correctional officer, Sherry.
Okay, but
He is in prison.
time out, he's going to start thinking, okay, well, I should do things to be in time out too, because that's what my dad's doing.
He's going to start thinking, okay, well, I should do things to be in time out too, because that's what my dad's doing.
I tried to. It's not her job.
You need
to let it go.
Oh, do I need to let it go? It's not her job. You need to let it go. Oh, do I need to let it go?
Under California law, to give grandparent reasonable visitation with a grandchild, the court has to find a pre-existing relationship between grandparent and grandchild that has engendered a bond where visitation is in the best interest of the grandchild. Now, you need to be concerned about the second part of that sentence, where it is in the best interest of the grandchild. If you are not being consistent with a therapeutically supported, has been to a therapist and the decision has been made, this is the story to be told, and you are not consistent with that, then you are creating confusion on the part of the child, and the court will determine that that is not in the best interest of the child, and you are out on point one.
My mom didn't argue with her about not saying that. My mom argued with her because she said, my son's not a bad person, and she said, yes, he is. He is a bad person. My mom said, no, he's not. That's when she said, you'll never see your grandson again. It wasn't because my mom was arguing with her, I'm not going to say that. She was saying, he's not a bad person, though. And she didn't like that. That's where the argument came from. She's not saying that she won't say what Alexa wants to say. If a therapist says that's what you should say, then okay.
Number two, balance the visitation with parents' rights to make decisions. Parents' rights to make decisions about their child. Now, if you put the child's interest ahead of your own,
if you put the child's interest
and you have
ahead
a
of your own,
therapist, they will tell you
and you
that
have
you
a therapist,
should work
they
to
will
find
tell
a
you
way to
that
involve
you should work
these
to
people
find
in
a
your
way
son's life.
to involve
And if they're
these
not
people
telling you that,
in
then you
your
need to
son's
find
life.
somebody that is.
And if they're not telling you
Because
that,
any
then you need to
therapist
find
that is
somebody
worth their salt should be telling you
Any
that you
therapist
should
that
be
is
working
worth
to
their
find
salt
a
should
strategy,
be telling
find a
you
reason,
that
find
you
a way
should be
to
working
involve
to
these
find a
people
strategy,
in
find
your
a reason,
son's life.
find a way
And you're
to
going to have to
involve
come
these
up
people
with
in your
a
son's
set
life.
of talking
And you're going
points
to have to come up
that
with
you consistently
a set of
share with the
talking
child, and then
points
you're going to have
that
the
you
emotional integrity
consistently share with
to be
the child,
consistent
and then you're
with
going
that.
to have the
And
emotional
if you're
integrity
not,
to be
it
consistent
will
with that.
become
And
vividly
if you're
transparent
not,
in a short
it
period
will
of time,
become
and if you violate
vividly
that,
transparent
then
in
you
a
will
short
forfeit
period
your
of
rights
time,
to
and if
be
you
with
violate
that child.
then
You
you
don't
will forfeit
need
your
to go
rights
to
to
court.
be
You don't
with that
need
child.
to get the government
You don't
invited here.
need
What
to
you
go to
need to
court.
do
You don't need
is
to
sit
get the
down
government invited
with
here.
a
What you need to
family
do
therapist
is sit down
that will come up
with
with,
a
here are the
family
parameters. Here's
therapist
how this child
that will
should be
come
dealt
up
with in this
here are the
regard.
parameters. Here's how this
And
child
come up
should
with a
be
plan
dealt
that
with in
everybody
this
can
regard.
be comfortable with,
And
excited
come
about,
up with a plan that
and
everybody
embrace.
can be comfortable
And
with,
listen,
excited about,
these,
and embrace.
These two
And
did
listen,
not want Dylan to do
these-
what he did. It broke
these
their
two
hearts
did
for
not
the
want
rest of their
Dylan to
life.
do
It will
what he
break their
did.
hearts.
It broke their
You didn't
hearts
want him to
for
do.
the rest
I've never
of their
gotten
life.
an
It will break
apology
their
from her.
hearts.
I
You
tried
didn't
it.
want him to do.
Do it.
Never gotten an apology
And you
from
totally
her.
ignored me. Don't you remember that day?
Do it.
No, you never apologized.
I tried to.
It's not her job.
She didn't do it.
You never apologized.
It's not my job either, but I apologize to you.
She didn't do it.
My mom
It's not
doesn't
my
have to
job
do
either,
anything.
but
She's
I
not
apologize to
Dylan.
you.
You need to let it
My
go.
mom doesn't have to do anything. She's not Dylan. You need to let it go.
Well, I'm here talking to myself. Anita, Alexa, Sherry, and Dina are here.
Yeah.
talking to each
Anita,
other.
Alexa,
You
Sherry,
make
and
these
Nina are
declarations
here.
that you don't
Talking
even
to
think
each
you live
other.
in the house. You don't have the
You
first
make these
clue about what
declarations
happened.
I don't, but I
you don't
think
even
Okay,
think
then
you
don't
live in
make
the house. You don't have the
allegations
first
that
clue
you
about
can't
what happened.
support.
I don't, but
We're
I
Okay,
here
then don't make
supposedly to
allegations
get
that you
your
can't
mother to
support.
have access
We're
back
here
to her
supposedly
grandchild.
to get your
And you're
mother to
picking a
have
fight
access
with her?
back to her grandchild.
You're picking a fight with her? How selfish are you? Oh, hell, you're not. You're here picking a fight with her when your mother's trying to get access back to her grandson, and you want to run your agenda picking a fight with her.
I'm not picking a fight. I'm sticking up for what she's talking about.
You don't know the first thing about what happened.
I'm
So
sticking up for what she's talking about.
You don't know the first thing about what happened.
you know what? She was there and she was there. You weren't there.
I
Go
can
ahead.
go.
You got the floor.
And she
Go
was
ahead.
there.
I can
You
leave.
weren't there.
No, do whatever you want to do.
You got the floor.
I'd rather get to see my nephew.
No, do whatever
Well,
you
then
want to
stop
do.
talking.
I'd rather get to see my nephew.
Well, then stop talking.
Because I'm sure trying to set that up for you.
Thank you.
Because I'm sure trying to set that up
You're
for you.
traumatized
Thank
by
you.
this whole thing.
Absolutely.
And you are really
You're
angry about this
traumatized
whole
by this whole
thing.
Absolutely.
And I get that.
And you are really
need
angry
help
about
with
this
that.
whole thing.
And I'm going to get you that
And I
help.
get that. And you need help with that.
Because
And I'm going to get you that help.
I've looked down the barrel of a shotgun, and it looks about that big around. And I understand that that doesn't go away very easily.
No, it does not.
I wouldn't expect it to.
I told you, no, talk to
No,
me.
it does not. I
Talk
wouldn't
to me.
expect it to.
I get
No,
that.
talk to me.
I really get
Talk
that,
to me.
and I want to get you help
I
with
get
that.
that.
Thank you.
And I mean,
I really get
Professor,
that,
help you
and I
deserve
wanna get you
that,
help
and I
with
want
that.
you to have
Thank
that.
And I mean, really, Professor,
When something
you
like
deserve
this happens,
that, and I want you to
it
have
happens
that.
to everybody. It didn't just happen
When
to
something
Dylan.
like this
It didn't
happens,
just happen to them. It
It
happened to y'all
happens to
too.
everybody.
It
It didn't
disrupts
just
your
happen
whole
to
family.
Dylan. It didn't just
I
happen
want
to
to
him. It
get
happened to y'all
y'all
too. It disrupts
a
your whole
family counselor
I want to
mediator
get y'all
that will sit down
family
and work out a
counselor
way
mediator
where you guys can
that
agree,
will sit
just
down
in this
and
regard,
work
this
out a
is
way
what
where you
we're
guys can
going to
agree,
do
just in this regard,
concerning
this is
how we talk
what we're
about
going
this
to do
with the
concerning
grandson.
how we talk about
And
this.
because
with
I
the
want
grandson.
nothing more than for
Thank
him
you.
to clamber
And
up in your lap and put
Because
his
I
arms
want
around your
nothing
neck.
more than for him to clamber up
And
in your lap
it's
and
not
put his
easy
arms around your
being
neck.
a single mother, and
It's not easy.
I want to give
being
you help
a
and
single
support
mother,
with this.
and
You say you have a therapist
I
now.
want to
If
give you
that
help and
therapist is
support with
significant
this.
and
You say
adequate
you
for
have a
you, then
therapist
fine.
now. If
If
that
you need
therapist
other
is
resources,
significant and
then I'll make
adequate
those
for you, then
available to you.
fine.
I want to
If you need other
support this
resources,
situation.
then I'll make those available
Court
to
is
you.
where you go
I want to
to
support this
dispute.
situation.
Yes.
Court
What
is
I'm
where
talking
you go
about is where you
to
go to
dispute.
come together
Yes.
and
What
love
I'm
this little
talking
boy
about is where you go to
360
come
degrees.
together
You all
and
love this little boy.
Of course,
360
Let that be a
degrees.
common ground
You
that
all
you
love this
share.
little boy.
That's all.
Let that be a common
I
ground
want to
that
thank all of my
you
guests
share.
today. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. Tell us what you think on Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you next time.
drphil.com. Tell us what you think on Facebook or Twitter. We'll see you next time.
The following program contains strong sexual content. Viewer discretion advised. The following program contains strong sexual content.
Today's show
Viewer
is
discretion
going to
advised.
take a deep dive into what I consider
Today's show
the most
is going to
heinous,
take a deep
despicable,
dive
and evil
what I
thing
consider the most
ever perpetrated by a parent.
I was my dad's sex slave.
You said that you would wake up to your father on
I was my
top of
dad's
you.
sex slave. When I was 6, he started kissing me. I was 7 years old. He started sexually abusing me. My father fed me drugs. He put a bag over my head and suffocated me. Fed me drugs.
As unimaginable as this story is, you haven't heard the worst of it yet.
Unimaginable as this story is, you haven't heard the worst of it yet.
Meet Tatiana. Now, Tatiana left Brazil and moved to America at just 6 years old to live with her parents. Almost immediately, her father began forcing her to do drugs so he could sexually abuse her and beat her feet black and blue with a bat.
and beat
At
her
12
feet
years old,
black and blue with a bat.
Tatiana's father pulled her out of
At
school
12 years old,
and sexually assaulted
Tatiana's
her
father pulled her out
every
of school
single day.
and sexually assaulted
He
her
installed security
every
cameras and motion
single day.
sensors around their home, making it
He installed
impossible
security
for her
cameras
to
and motion
escape.
sensors around
She
their
says
home,
she was
making it
terrorized by
impossible
her father, who
for her to
regularly
escape.
threatened to kill her
She
if
says
she
she
ever
was
told anyone
terrorized
about
by
the
her father,
abuse.
who regularly
But then
threatened
at
to kill her
25,
if she ever told
after
anyone about the
19
abuse.
years of
But
torture,
then at 25,
she was finally
after
rescued.
19 years of
Take a look.
torture,
Right now,
She
I'm
was
broken,
finally
confused, and I don't know if I can live a normal life. Right now, I'm broken, sexually, physically, emotionally abused by my biological father. Mental abused. I was abused for 19 years. I was my dad's sex slave. Anything he wanted, I had to do. A lot of these pictures, I'm smiling, but I'm dying inside. From when I was 6, he started kissing me down there and touching me down there. He would tell me not to tell, and he would ask me if it felt good. My father was a karate instructor. He would sexually abuse me in the studio. My mom was not there. She was a nanny. She did odd jobs, cleaning houses when my mom was off to work. That's when he would come and prey on me. My dad made me lure men to the house to have sex with me so he could watch. When I was about 15 years old, it became routine. But the times that I would not bring men back, he would beat me up and say that I was lying, that I didn't try. Not only was he sexually abusing me, he was physically abusing me, hitting me with baseball bats, anything he could grab, even extension cords. He would grab my feet and just smack it like that. Bam. My knees were bruised and I was bedridden for days. I couldn't walk at all. Out of nowhere, I would wake up just blows to the head, to the body. He was paranoid. My father was on drugs the majority of the time that he abused me. My father fed me drugs from 6 years old. He introduced me to alcohol, marijuana at the age of 8, cocaine at 10. I was a prisoner and he watched me 24/7. The abuse got worse when he pulled me out of school, and I wasn't even really allowed outside the house. My dad installed surveillance cameras inside the house. He had alarms as well, and dogs. We had about 7 Rottweilers at one point. He had sensors under the bed, so I wouldn't be able to leave at all at night. I couldn't even go to the bathroom at night. I had to use the bucket next to the bed. I had to wake him up and tell him I had to go use the restroom, but that was rare because I did not want to wake him up because it's like waking up the beast. On a day-to-day basis, I would have to cook, clean, basically living like his wife. I never tried to escape. I wish I did. He threatened to kill me. Plenty of times I contemplated hurting him, but I was just so scared of the unknown, and I just gave in.
Tatiana, I'm very, very glad you're here. And rest assured, I'm not going to ask you any details that embarrass you here.
Rest assured, I'm not going to
I just want to say that while I'm glad to meet you, I'm just really sorry for the circumstance. My question, in looking back on this, how do you think your father was able to keep this a secret from the world for so many years?
I have no idea. He just was very personable. He's very smart. He's read a lot of books. He's very smart.
This got to the point that he was performing like 10 sex acts a week. I mean, this was an intense assault pattern on you, correct?
That is correct.
And the earliest remembrances you have of this were at what age?
The earliest remembrances
6
you
years
have
old, that
of
one
this
picture that I gave you guys,
Right.
me holding the doll.
And at 6, you know, you say that he would kiss you, he would touch your privates, but it wasn't long after that in addition to that being inappropriate, wrong, and humiliating, things began to get very painful, correct? Because you began to violate your body in that way.
Very correct.
When was that, and what happened then?
I was 7 years old, 8 years old. He started sexually abusing me.
And he started giving you
Sexually
drugs.
abusing me.
What did you think about that? Did it scare you when you started getting fuzzy?
It scared me a lot when I started getting fuzzy, and I remember several occasions exactly not knowing what was going to happen afterwards.
You said that you would wake up sometimes to your father on top of you, and
to your father.
It's just something that makes it difficult for me to use that word father.
Just something that makes it difficult for
this
me to
man
use that word father.
on top of you, just beating you. You're asleep, you wake up,
on top
and he's just beating you.
Just beating you. You're asleep, you wake up,
Was there
and he's
any
just beating
sense of
you.
why?
No, I have no idea.
No.
For whatever reasons, he came up with his own reasons as to why he was beating me up like that and waking me up like that. And it was all through his paranoia. I just know that I had to sleep almost with one eye open, scared.
You said he would take a baseball bat and beat the bottoms of your feet.
You said he would
He
take a
would make me
baseball
give
bat
my
and
feet
beat the
to him,
bottoms of your
and I
feet.
would do as much as I could because I didn't want the swinging to go everywhere, because there was times also that my knees were so bruised, my elbows, everything, because he was just swinging.
You say at age 10 he was a karate taekwondo instructor.
At age 10,
You say
he was a
he
karate
raped you in
taekwondo
the
instructor.
studio, in the dressing room.
You say he
So there were other
raped you
people
in the-
around, but
the
he would take you
studio,
there
in the
early
dressing
before the
room.
class started?
So there were other people around, but he would
Now,
take you
you
there
say at
early
age
before the
12
class started.
That he took you
You
out
say
of
at age
school.
12
He didn't want me to get close and maybe open up
he
to
took you out
somebody.
of school.
Looking back, do you feel guilty that you should have told someone?
I do feel guilty,
Looking back,
and I
do you
should have
feel
never
guilty that
continued
you
to
should
let
have
him
told someone?
manipulate me and do what he was doing to me, but I was so scared and uncertain. That's all that I knew.
You think about this now as an adult.
You think about this now